Living in the world of today with all of its uncertainties, it's easy to see why so many people fall into the depths of despair. I mean, contemplate the magnitude of the worst tragedies, both man-made and natural, that have been witnessed on earth. During the Holocaust, 11 million people perished. An earthquake in Haiti killed over 300,000. From the Indian Ocean tsunami, 212,000 lives were lost. Famine kills thousands of people across our globe every day. A tidal wave in Bangladesh resulted in 2 million lives lost, and the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic killed over 50 million people. With today's technological advances, we are made aware via global media coverage of each catastrophe almost instantaneously. Whether it's the fear of terrorist attacks with weapons of mass destruction, worries about the unsettling power of Mother Nature gone awry, as demonstrated in the earthquake and resultant tsunami in Japan, or simply the fear of the unknown, there is an undeniable deleterious effect on us, and especially on the mental health of our children. A while back, I stopped at a local restaurant for coffee. I smiled as I noticed a father helping his 4-year-old son open his Happy Meal. I reminisced back to a time years ago when my son Tyler and I would spend a weekend morning on what we referred to as Men's Club, where daddy and son would spend quality time together. As I was recalling that marvelous experience, I was suddenly yanked back into a sad reality. As this father was opening his son's Happy Meal, I realized that the youngster was not paying attention to the meal being placed before him. The big screen TV in the dining area of the restaurant mesmerized him. CNN was showing the vivid images of bloodied, dead college students being carried from the Virginia Tech classrooms. The tragic aftermath of the bloodbath senselessly inflicted by a crazed young man. The young boy had a look of horror on his sweet young face. I intently watched his reaction to the video of the mass murderer's raging diatribe of threats and demented explanations of this horrific crime. The irony struck me that this was anything but a happy meal. The tragic truth is that in today's world, very few of us enjoy a happy meal, or a happy day for that matter. As I witnessed that child losing his innocence, it became painfully apparent to me that humankind has also lost much, primarily the loss of balance in our lives. In today's world, entire generations of children have grown up in a tragic milieu of hatred and violence. Sadly, anger and hostility continue to be cultivated in our children beginning at a very early age. Palestinian children have been taught to hate Israeli children, and vice versa. The Hutus and the Tutsis in Rwanda have murdered one another over their perceived differences. All of these and the many other conflicts in our world continue to feed the self-perpetuating cycle which has never nor ever will serve a constructive purpose. It should come as no surprise that in a recent study co-authored by Dr. Mark Olfson of Columbia University and New York State Psychiatric Institute, it was found that 20% of young Americans had been diagnosed with a personality disorder that actually interfered with their everyday life. These disorders included obsessive compulsive tendencies and other antisocial behavior that can lead to violence. This is being borne out in the now frequent school shooting rampages we are experiencing, most recently at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Far too many of our youth are abusing alcohol and drugs, attempting to escape their reality. I suspect that none of this is unique to our American society. It's the constant barrage, the incessant exposure to the negative energy percolating through our world that is poisoning the innocent and fertile minds of our children, while adversely affecting adults as well. There's no doubt that immeasurable pain and suffering exists in our world. How we deal with that sadness dictates its effect on us and on the entire cosmos as well. Each time a catastrophic event occurs, humanity is offered an opportunity to begin anew, to change the thought, to teach our children well. We should expose our children not to the beheadings in Iraq, not to the daily bombings and murders occurring across this world, not to the Kaylee Anthony murder updates, not to the constant barrage of horrific scenes our children view in the movies, in video games, or on television. We must provide our children, and thus ourselves, with a vastly different paradigm. The path of positive thoughts, which will result in the manifestation of that which we all seek: peace. Our legacy to the next generation, whether it be here in America or in the Middle East, can be to offer a life much different from the one we have all helped to create. Here's food for thought. The gift for our children can be the taste of a truly positive life experience. Perhaps it could begin with a happy meal.